Okay, come closer. So you could hear it that's coming from this area. Okay. So basically, guys, what I'm trying to show you is got these struts and shocks. Never had this noise before. I did not replace my struts and shocks because they were bad. I replaced them because they were 19 years old. Original shocks. And I could tell they were beefier, but this is the Chinese garbage that they sold me. And that one's making terrible sound. And also the suspension itself making noise. Surprisingly, front left and rear left. I guess just my luck, I guess, with that one.
Hello guys, and welcome to another David Zamaleta. My name is Serge, and in today's video I'm in my garage. I'm basically going to be replacing front strut on the left side. Recently I have replaced the two struts and two shocks in the back. I decided to install very cheap solution from Amazon, 150 bucks. So unfortunately I had to find out the hard way that it's just Chinese cheap stuff. It's just not worth it. Get OEM, especially when it's your life at stake. But these particular struts, the one on the left side, for some reason, actually went out the very first week I installed it. Like once I installed it, everything was fine, like nice and soft. But then 3 days in, even my wife started telling me it started to make some kind of noise. And then I took it for a drive, a little bit more noise, and then it started to make noise regularly. And I was kind of thinking, I wonder what that is. I even removed the tire, the wheel. I've inspected everything, shook everything. I'm thinking, well, everything looks good here. Started thinking maybe it's a sway bar link. I check it out, make sure everything's tight. Everything actually was tight. It was kind of confusing. I didn't think certainly the strut has failed. The such a noise that was making it was a little clanking, and also it sounded like an old bed, the ones that used to have like the metal type of mattress. It was really making those squeaky sounds, kind of annoying. And also recently, and this is 2 months later after installation, my left rear shock has failed. It started clanking, and that was really annoying. Every little bump it starts to clink, and it just came all of a sudden. And I was driving it. I mean, I went over a speed bump a little bit too hard, like nothing like major, just a little bit harder than usual, and immediately it started making that noise. But apparently what has happened in the rear for the actual shock, it looks like the bolt itself is loose, but like it wasn't. But when I actually tighten it down some more to where the threads are sticking about 2 inches above it now things are good and tight. But that's not the case on the right side. So I guess like when it went over a bump, it damaged it, and basically that's all it took, really. Just I don't even know how fast I was going on a speed bump, but it was just a little bit faster than normal, like nothing in particular. I've been over much worse before with my original shocks, and nothing has happened. But this immediately started making clanking. But anyways, I ordered some new shocks for the back. They're going to be coming in tomorrow. So at this point, I will just install left front strut, which is my OEM one, and compare the differences, see what it's like. But I also plan to replace the strut on the right side, and this is if you're sitting behind the steering wheel. That's the way I'm referring to things, as you're supposed to. And of course for the rear, I don't want to install the original stuff because those are just shocks. I'm just going to go ahead and install brand new ones.
So we're going to be removing the front left strut, which is the driver strut. This is the 13 millimeter. Okay, let's go ahead and remove everything that we need to remove in order to remove the strut. So the first thing we're going to do is remove sway bar and link. I have already loosened it, so removing it, as you can tell, it's a cake. You can see it tested a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to remove the lower portion of the shock from the control arm, from the rear control arm. Normally the bolt will not come out from the actual strut itself because it's built into it, but this is a Chinese strut. It did not have a bolt on the end, so usually the bolt, well, the nut is welded and it stays together with the strut. So I actually have to find a nut that would fit that bolt afterwards. So now the strut is getting ready to come out. The only thing we must do to it, first of all, I need to cut my zip tie right here. It is a zip tie because it's a really crappy. Let's see if I could just remove it. Okay, here we go, guys. So basically, the top of the strut springs bolts are off. The 13s. The bottom of the strut has been disconnected now from the rear control arm, and sway bar and link is off. The only thing we have to do is remove this one. So now that we have removed that, we need to install this puller tool to work on the front end. And let's see what socket fits it. Let's just use a regular size wrench. Well, that is about the easiest removal that I experienced in my life. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Now this could spring out, so you gotta be careful. Better safe than sorry. Okay, in the removal, you want to make sure you don't damage anything. Oh boy, these things are heavier than they look. Let's see. I'm wondering if this, I mean, know if I need to make this a little tighter or not. Because with all the pressure, it might be doing. So this is the spring that I just now removed. It's the Chinese garbage one. Here's my beauty, the OEM spring. Let's take a look to see if there's any apparent differences. So when putting them side by side, trying to be fair here, it does appear that ever so slightly the original might be a little bit longer. So let's see. Remove it, Kevin. Remove it. Yeah, it does appear I was correct. About a 1/4 inch. It's short about a 1/4 inch, according to that little ear. But if I put it on the inside, try to straighten them up as much as possible, the inside diameter appears to be the same. 18.8 and 21.8. So installing these Chinese ones, they're definitely heavier. Okay. Before installing it, I do want to point out is this. The tags on it, maybe because they're laminated, this is how they are. I didn't clean them or nothing. And possibly they were replaced before. When I was working for Chrysler Jeep Dodge, I looked up the history and I did not see anything according to the history of this being done. So I really have no idea. Was it replaced or was it not? I do want to tighten up the upper control arm some. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Oh my gosh, what the heck is up with this? Okay, let's see. Okay, I do have access to that bolt right here. Okay, you'll need an 18 to do this. So the reason I put in a shorter is because I'll have to go behind it as well. So that's a little bit more tighter than it was. Then over there, I'll have to dive. Okay, you could let this go now. Okay, just so it's not loosey-goosey. Yeah, that is a lot better. Okay, now I gotta tidy up this area. So we're gonna go ahead and install that there. Before I tighten anything up, I want to make sure that this can go properly. Kevin, I need a flashlight. You hold it. So like I need to be able to see what's going on over here in this area because I gotta snap it in. Okay, that is now on. Now that I insert the little tube on the side. Okay, you could go back. Thank you. So now we can just put this back. And these back. Try to do it kind of light, but kind of high setting currently. So that's good. This is the tube I was talking about. You gotta plug it back in. Don't forget it if you're doing this. Okay, now let's attempt to install this. To install, you want to make sure that the bolt, if you have one, it's actually on that side.
I need to use a hammer.
Lock this bolt in. That is in. right. We did remove this, now it's tight. We did remove that, now it's tight. We did remove that, now that's tight. We removed the zip tie. Now we gotta put the zip tie back. Gotta put the zip tie back. Now, this brake line, it may be for some vehicles going like right over here. And that might be fine. But I chose to run it behind. Just the way it kind of bends. Just makes sense. It's not rubbing or touching anything. Probably would be good to maybe add something here, like at the very least those plastic things that snap on cables to protect it from rubbing. It's a brake line after all. But time to put the tire back on. Out. Old Strut is on. Let's see if it makes the same noise. Come closer, Kevin. Sure, it's a little bouncy, but it doesn't make any sound. Let's see if this side is more bouncy. What do you think, Kevin? About the same rate of bounciness?
About. Yeah, they're about the same.
Yeah, I think it's about the same. But there's no more noise. Now I'm gonna go for a drive. Guys, it's blazing outside, man. Freaking hot. It says it's 88. I have a hard time believing that. Let's look at the weather here. Yeah, 92. Yeah, that's more like it. I mean, we were in the shade, so possibly in the shade. 88. Okay. Now we're gonna go over some bumpy stuff. I mean, nothing. Not getting anything. Can't believe that Strut pretty much failed. Like, seriously, in the same week. I installed it. The very first drive I did felt fine. But after that, like right at about a week, my wife even noticed. She's like, there's some kind of noise now. Yeah. But I'm not saying that my old ones are good. I have no clue as to if they've been replaced. But I look at the manufacturer's date and it says 05. Probably original Struts. So